Students, today let us start with our first chapter of science, natural resources, air, water and land. Children, what are natural resources? They are those resources which we get from nature. So in this chapter, children, we are going to study about three natural resources in detail. They are air, water and land. Children, now in the beginning of the lesson, one picture is shown and some questions are asked. Let us answer those questions one by one. The first question is, where do we see the birds? Children, observe the picture and see here. Here are the birds flying in the sky. Second question, where is the cow grazing? See, here is the cow grazing on the land. Third question, locate the trees and the roads. See, here are the trees. Similarly, you have to locate the road. Fourth question, where does the river come from? How does it flow? Children, river is coming from upwards through the mountains and it is flowing in downward direction. Fifth question, where is the aeroplane? See, here is the aeroplane flying in the sky. Okay. Then, where are the fish seen, children? The next question is, where are the fish seen? See here in the picture, you can see here are the fish seen in the water, swimming in the water. Seventh question, on what is the sailboat floating? The sailboat is here, it is floating on the water. So let's move further, children. Natural resources. You can see that some things in the picture are in water, some on land and some in the sky, that is in the air. We have seen children that in the above picture some things were in water. What things were in water? Children, fishes were in water, sailboat were in water. What things were on the land? We have seen that trees were on the land, mountains were on the land, cow was on the land. Even we have seen some things were in the sky. Birds, aeroplane was in the sky. Thus all the things on the earth are associated with air, water and land. That means all these things on the earth are dependent on air, water and land. Air, water and land are called the earth's atmosphere, hydrosphere and lithosphere. Children, see here, what is air? Air means atmosphere. What is water? Water means hydrosphere. What is land? Land means lithosphere. So these are the three spheres of our earth. I repeat, air means atmosphere, water means hydrosphere, land means lithosphere. Now children, let's move further. Moreover, different living things occupy these three spheres of the earth. Different living things. There are many kind of living things on this earth. So they are occupying all these three spheres. Some are dependent on the water, some are in the water, some are on the land, some are in the sky. So all these different living things are occupying different spheres of our earth, that is atmosphere, hydrosphere and lithosphere. These living things and the part of the lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere which they occupy are together called biosphere. Children, very important, what is biosphere? See, biosphere. Biosphere means the part occupied by all living things on of all these spheres, lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere. Together it is called biosphere. Living things are existing on all these spheres, lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere. So the part occupying by only living things is together called as biosphere. Now children, these spheres have formed on the earth naturally. Children, nobody has created it. These spheres have formed on the earth naturally. We have learned all this in previous standards. Now children, let's move further. The atmosphere is a layer of air that surrounds the earth. Children, what is atmosphere? Atmosphere is nothing but it is a layer that surrounds our earth. The surface of the earth comprises water and land, and our surface of the earth, it is comprises of two things, water and land. Okay, water means, already it is told, water means hydrosphere, that is hydrosphere, and land means lithosphere. Of those, the hydrosphere occupies a much larger portion, that means water is occupying how much percentage on the land, on the earth? 71%. Land is occupying only 29%. So figure 1.2 shows the proportion of land and water. Land is occupying only 29% and water is occupying 71%. Now let's move further. We also look upon these natural resources in solid, liquid and gaseous form as resources. These resources are available in all the three forms. They are solid, liquid and gaseous. That means land is in the solid form, Water is in the liquid form, atmosphere is in the gaseous form. In other words, we use them to fulfill our requirements. We use these natural resources to fulfill our daily needs. What are our daily needs? Daily needs means basic needs: food, clothing, and shelter. So we are using these resources for fulfilling our daily requirements, daily needs, that is. So let us now study all these three components in detail. Children, what are the five layers of atmosphere? Children, before starting with the five layers of atmosphere, we have to study about what is air first. Air is the first natural resource which we have to study in detail. The air in the atmosphere around the earth contains nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, six inert gases, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, water vapor, and dust particles. So children, air is nothing but it is the mixture of various gases like nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, inert gases, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide, water vapor, and dust particles. Now children, after studying what is air, what it is made up of, we will see all that five layers of our atmosphere. The very first layer is troposphere. Children, troposphere contains what proportion of gases in it? It contains 80% of gases. The first layer of the atmosphere is troposphere. It contains 80% of gases in it. The second layer is stratosphere. It contains 19% of gases in it. Further, the third layer is mesosphere. Fourth layer is ionosphere. Here what happens, children? The proportion of gases goes on decreasing. Decreasing means it is becoming very less. And last layer is exosphere. You will find out no gases. Here no gases are found. Understood, children? So these are the five layers where different proportion of gases are found. In troposphere you will find only 80% of gases. In stratosphere you will find only 19% of gases. In mesosphere, ionosphere, the number of gases, the mass of gases, percentage of gas goes on decreasing. And in exosphere you will find out no gases. Now children, let's move further. You can see that air is a mixture of several gases and is the chief constituent of the Earth's atmosphere. We have seen that in the above paragraph that air is made up of many gases. Beside these gases, air also contains what? Water vapor and dust particles. Children, we have seen air is not only a mixture of gases but it is also a mixture of two more things: water vapor and dust particles. Now children, we have to see further. The amount of gases in the air is greatest near the surface. Children, to the nearest surface will have more number of gases, and as you go further higher and higher, what happens? The number of gases goes on decreasing. Okay, that is air becomes rarer at higher altitudes. So you go to the top places, what happens? The air becomes less at the top places. Now children, we have to study about the proportion of constituents of air. How much percentage of gas they are present in the air? The first gas which is present in the air is nitrogen. It is having 78%, is present in 78%. Oxygen 21%, argon 0.9%. Other constituents means dust particles and water vapor. They are present in the air in 0.07%. Carbon dioxide is present in 0.03%. Okay, these are the proportion of various gases in the air. Just practice this diagram. Now we are going to see some uses of gases in air. The first use of gas is nitrogen. It helps living things to build the necessary proteins. Proteins, children, they are very important for the growth of our body. So nitrogen gas helps in formation of proteins. Even it is useful in the production of ammonia gas. The third use is airtight packaging of foodstuff. Children, nowadays we are having airtight foodstuffs packets available in the market like jams, pickles. Okay, they are some eatables, wafers, and all. They are they are airtight packed. Why they are airtight packed? So that they should not get spoiled. For that, nitrogen gas is useful. The next gas is, children, argon. Argon is used in electric bulbs. Everybody is using electric bulbs in your houses. So argon gas is used in electric bulbs. The next one is oxygen gas. Oxygen is used for two things. Respiration means breathing, and for combustion. Combustion means for burning. For burning anything, oxygen gas is useful. Next one is helium. It is used for obtaining low temperature. To make the temperature very low, helium gas is used, and also for generating lift in airships. As helium gas is very light in weight, it is used for lifting in airships. The next one is carbon dioxide. It is used for producing food for plants. Plants use this gas for producing the food. Even it is used in fire extinguishers. We use the fire extinguishers. It is available in public places like schools, hospitals, colleges. Why they are used? Fire extinguishers to put off the fire. In that, carbon dioxide is gas is present. That is useful for putting off the fire. The next gas is neon. It is used in the decorative lights. During Diwali, we use the decorative lights for decorations. In that, neon gas is used. It is also used for street lighting. On the road, we see many lamps are there at night. That are called as street lighting. In that, also neon gas is used. Next one is krypton. It is used in fluorescent tubes. Last one is xenon. It is used in flash photography. This gas is used. Now, children, let us move further. Further, we will see about that some pictures are given. We have to observe and discuss it. They are asking what is the similarity in these three pictures. See, in the first picture, we could see the factories are releasing the smoke. Second picture, we could see that from some vehicle, smoke is released. In the third picture, we could see the fire. Due to the fire, the smoke is released. So all the above pictures show what happens. Children, here, see, all the picture, the smoke is released. What is released? Smoke. So all the above pictures, they show large scale emission of smoke through different agencies like industries due to the fire broke out accidentally, due to the vehicles running on the road. This smoke directly mixes with the atmosphere. What happens, children? This smoke will definitely get mixes in the atmosphere, and when it mixes in the atmosphere, they are disturbing the balance between the constituents of air. We have seen the different constituents of air: nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide. They are present in particular ratio, proportion. So what happens when this smoke is released in the atmosphere? They are disturbing the balance between them, and it creates air pollution. Due to this harmful smoke which is released, what happens? Air pollution takes place. Understood? Now, air pollution also takes place due to the harmful gases. How these harmful gases are given out? They are given out due to the combustion of fuels in vehicles. Children, in vehicles, fuels are used. Vehicles are run on fuels. Fuels for what? Fuels like petrol and diesel. Combustion means burning. When these fuels are burned, what happens? In the vehicles, smoke and gases are released. Even the gases are released from the industries. Yes or no, children? So when these gases are released, air pollution takes place. Smoke is released, air pollution takes place. Even what happens due to the incomplete combustion of fuels like wood and coal? When wood and coal are half burnt, incomplete means half burnt, then also what happens? Air pollution takes place, and due to all these things, air pollution is increasing day by day. So we should find out the means to stop the air pollution. Children, these are also some of the gases, substances which are released in the air through combustion of fuels: nitrogen dioxide, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, soot. So remember this, air pollution takes place due to the smoke released from factories, vehicles, due to the smoke released from fire, even due to the harmful gases which is released due to the combustion of fuels from vehicles, big industries, even due to the incomplete combustions like wood and coal. Now children, let's move further. Ozone layer. Children, ozone layer is called as a protective shell. Ozone is nothing but it is a gas, ozone gas. There is a layer of this ozone gas. There is a layer of ozone gas present in the lower part of stratosphere. We have seen that 5 layers. So where this ozone gas is present, in the which layer? In the lower part of which layer? Stratosphere. Ozone gas is not directly useful for the survival of living things. We don't use it directly, children. Yes, it is important for living things to have this layer, but it is very important for to have this layer of ozone, because why it is very useful? Because it does one thing. The ultraviolet rays are coming from the sun. See here, children, this is it. This is I will show you. This is sun. From the sun, what happens? Harmful ultraviolet rays are coming. Okay, and they are falling on the earth. They are falling on the earth. So, ozone layer is here in between. So, it protects us from the ultraviolet rays to fall on the earth. That is why the ozone is called as a protective layer. So, which are the harmful rays? Ultraviolet rays. They are coming from where? Sun. So, this ozone is the layer which is protecting us from these harmful ultraviolet rays, and as a result life on earth is protected and we are safe. But now children, what happened? The ozone layer is getting destroyed due to the chemical gases like carbon tetrachloride and chlorofluorocarbons. This ozone layer is getting destroyed due to these two chemical gases. They are carbon tetrachloride and chlorofluorocarbons. Okay, these spellings please note it down. They are mixing with the air from air conditioners and refrigerators. These two gases are released from air conditioners and refrigerators, and that is why ozone layer is getting destroyed. So we should protect our ozone layer. If ozone layer is not there, who will do our protection? So we should protect this ozone layer. So for that, children, 16 September is celebrated as Ozone Protection Day. Remember this day all over the world to make everyone aware of the importance of ozone. So just remember, ozone is a protective layer. It is protecting of us from which harmful rays? Ultraviolet rays. Understood? So 16 September is celebrated as Ozone Protection Day all over the world. Children, that's all for today. In the next lecture, we will study about second natural resource, water and land. Till then, goodbye.